Hello everybody and welcome back to Hearts of Iron, where we've had a pretty bad breakthrough over on this side, and we do need to do something about it. But I believe we've also had some troops get spawned here. Yes, indeed, 48 infantry divisions. These are fully trained. So we can start putting these into some of these armies, although some of these don't have orders, probably because they're behind enemy lines. We can check in on that. What's the status of these guys? Okay. They don't have many troops around them right now. We could try to break out over this direction, at least making our way over towards like Ardabil, potentially. We could head out over this way and try to break out this direction, something like that. We'll see if we end up getting out of there. That's all three of these armies, so that is noted. Okay, this army is tanks, so nothing too much to be done there. This army is infantry, and they could definitely use 4 of these unassigned divisions. So let's get some of these selected, 4 of them, there we go, and we'll get them assigned out over here. We'll get those straight out. So that looks good. Then over in the American theater, we can just get some amount of units over here. It doesn't really matter who, because these are hodgepodge armies. So for right now, that seems reasonably fine. So we'll do something like that. Then we've got the African theater out over here. Now, if I remember correctly, these guys, yeah, they have a naval base. So we're just waiting on them to arrive down over here, and then we'll assign these armies to get down over here. It'll take them a little while to get there, and I'll want them to start moving. I'm assuming we have a naval base here, right? We do, up here. We may want to... Oh, we have one over here as well. Okay, so that's good. We may want to start upgrading naval bases over here, so I'm going to start that about here for right now. So that seems relatively fine. Then our next major concern is up over here, right? But this is only 12 units. This is 29. That can be 30 theoretically. And we can go through these and check to see if there's any that can hold more. I mean, we know that there's problems here, but I'm just looking for generals that can have at least 30 units in them that they command. And that's not the case here. That's noted. In the African theater, there's these 2. So we can definitely move some forces in here, but this one there's not really a point to yet. They don't have orders assigned, but I'm going to for now anyway. So let's just select half again, and then we'll go down to 6 units. They're going to get assigned to this army, but for now that's okay. And then this is tanks, so for the moment that seems fine. The rest of these should get assigned to the overflow theater. Now, we're going to stop the overflow theater from drilling, because I'm going to have the overflow theater start helping out with this breakthrough over here. So I'm going to have them front line over here. Although I don't necessarily want them to be across this entire front line, I think it's fine to help reinforce this for now. And I'm going to tell them that they're going to offensive line, and their offensive line goal is going to be to take up to about there. So it's going to take them time to arrive. That's understood. So there we go. Now, over in the American theater, up over here, things are going very, very well for us, and we basically expected that. We're hoping that we're going to be able to get to... Looks like we have a big breakthrough over here. They had sparse forces over here. I'm not sure exactly where they went, but they probably pulled back to a fallback line or something like that. Maybe they're going to try to hold, like, behind this river or something. Who knows? I don't know how the AI handles that. But apparently we're on speed 1. Let's move that up to speed 5. And we're going to proceed here. So we're pretty unopposed over here. We've been pretty unopposed on this front for a significant amount of time. They've had sparse defense here and there, but we've been mostly unopposed out over here. So that's looking great. We're going to have the North American front wrapped up very, very soon. So that is all looking good at this time. This breakthrough over here is, of course, problematic. And the question is, what are we going to do about this breakthrough? Because these guys have forces out over here, right? And that is indeed a bit of a problem. So at this time, we're launching an attack down over here. I'd love to cut this off. I'm just thinking here. This area is undefended. We can walk into that immediately and apply additional pressure. Wait. These guys are moving. This is undefended. they're redeploying a bunch of troops around right now, and that's very interesting. Keep this attack here, start up an attack here, and start an encirclement this way. Wait for these guys to move out of here. I don't see other troops down here right now. Yeah, they must be doing a big redeployment here, maybe like they did up in Moscow. This is bad timing for them, that's for sure. Okay, so they have some forces here right now, but it's not many. This corridor is getting increasingly precarious for them. Okay, we can't really attack from here because we have no supply source. Wait a second. We can just do this. Okay. Because they pulled off of this side as well. Interesting. I'm not sure exactly what their plan is here, but they are trying to close up this gap. If we can come out over here, that'll establish us supplies through here. Theoretically, anyway. I really want to take this point. It's currently vulnerable. So let's try this again. They've moved their forces in such a way where it's currently vulnerable again. So let's try this one more time. Okay, so we got this position. They have forces moving this way. They're trying to reinforce here. Will they be able to? We're waiting for more forces to come in down here. This is a very precarious corridor for them at this point. We have potentially significant opportunity, especially with this link up back over here going. So that all looks relatively good for right now. Now, I want to check in on the status of our exfiltration out over here. How are these guys doing? They are not currently moving. They do have some amount of supplies here, but they need to be moving up like this, right? And try to make their way out over here. Now, we do have additional forces over here. Looks like we have actually managed to push these back a little bit with those additional units that we've been bringing in here. I think. Right? Maybe a little bit. So that would be great. And we've got these guys here who should just be walking up to here. So we'll do that for now. And checking in over here. These guys are trying to redeploy all the way around. Okay, so we've linked this back up. That's fine for the moment, but this is going to be a massive redeploy, and I don't actually want it to redeploy like this. So this army, Army 48, is currently swapping positions here. These guys are part of Army 50. They're heading up here. Army 48 is which army? This army. Everyone is swapping positions. I hate this. Don't do this. This is awful. Really, really, really don't do this. Leave the armies where they are, please. Is there a way to tell them to do that? Is there a way to control where each army gets deployed in the army group? I'm going to delete this army group order, and I'm going to recreate it. So that's the front line, but that front line is going to go all the way up to here, annoyingly. So we're going to have to pull that back all the way back over to where it's supposed to go, which is right here. Now, this is Army 48 again. So how is it determining which army goes where? Is that just random? Because if that's random, that's very bad for situations like this. Because this should really be Army 50 that... Wait, this is Army 50 that's assigned here. Okay, let's see what happens here. So Army 50 is assigned here. Army 49 is assigned here. Okay. Well, I would really, really love to get an encirclement out over this way. Come on over here, and I want to launch an attack down this way. These guys are not particularly strong. And we can do some sort of a fixing attack up over here. But our forces are going to redeploy here, and that's going to be kind of awful. That redeployment is not going to be great for us. So, we've got these guys out over here, and I want them to start moving down to here. By sea. By sea. how can we move them by sea? Because they don't want to move by sea. They want to move normally. I'm going to just assign them to this army group order, and what does that do? Okay, now they're moving by sea. Perfect. So that's what I want them to do. I want them to come in over here. Now, this might open up gaps while they're traveling. Army groups are kind of sucky, honestly. The way that they work in this game, they constantly leave gaps open. I don't know. But for now, we've got an encirclement right here. Let's go ahead and take care of that. Get on in here. Okay, so we'll do something like that, and then up over here, this is our real area of concern right now. I would love to attack right here. Our supplies down this direction, I think, are non-great. What do we got? Yeah, that's definitely in the category of non-great. I want to build a rail line from here out to, like, here. It's going to be a pretty lengthy rail line, but let's get that underway so that we can hopefully get a connection out over to here via rail. And I'd like to have these guys have an offensive line of literally just like right here. We'll go ahead and execute that. Hopefully we're not leaving too many gaps. But this area is actually fairly exposed at this moment, and we want to take advantage of this while we can. They're going to reinforce this again, I'm sure, but the question is when, right? So that seems absolutely fine. Checking in on the American front. How are things looking? No divisions. I think this is the old army that doesn't exist anymore over here. Yeah, that's not part of that army group. So let's just do that for now. And that seems okay. Our overflow theater has divisions not assigned to an order. Does that include the Marines? Because they're supposed to be assigned to this order here. 43 divisions. Yeah, that looks good. So the African theater has these 30 units that are not assigned to a division. Or not assigned to an order. That's understood. And apparently, I think they were probably, I think some of their units were sunk. Maybe? But these guys should be assigned right on over here. Okay, so that seems good. Yeah, we're definitely leaving gaps here because we have troops that are just not here, right? And that's understood. I do want to have these guys told to offensive line somewhere around here. There we go. So we'll launch some probing attacks out over that way. That seems fine. Now it looks like they're blocking our retreat over here. That's understood. We are eventually going to relieve this if we can get to it. And that would be fantastic. These guys are currently here and not moving. Get on up here, if you can. Ooh, look at this. We're currently winning this attack. That's huge. If we win this attack, that means we pocketed this entire area. We got it. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this army group, and we're going to delete this offensive line. It no longer matters. We're going to now offensive line basically kind of like this-ish. Okay, so this is all pocketed up here, and we need to get this under control ASAP. So come on in here, come on in here, and come on in here. That'll do for now. So this area is pocketed, and let's get that dealt with. Now, back up over here. What do we got going on? Well, we're slowly advancing over here. They've actually pulled troops from here now, presumably to try to hold other places of this line, but they don't have enough forces to hold this. They never did. But I want to be aggressively attacking up here. So this primary offensive line up here, and there's also an army over here. There's only 2 units here. Let's assign them over to here. Okay. So this army group, I want to be aggressively attacking with right now. Just attack anywhere you can. There's no reason to not attack at this time. They're in full collapse here on the American continent, so that is absolutely great. We do need to take care of South America. We're working on it. Once these guys are freed up, we're going to just roll through with that army group as well as the plan. So, out over here. These are pocketed, and we need to get that under control. So that's looking good. Supplies are no longer a major issue out over here. Now we're attacking over towards Moscow, although this isn't going tremendously well. We still have this attack going out over here, and this is actually... They don't have many troops here. Neither do we, to be clear. But I want this army group to move up to aggressively attack. Get in there. Why are you not moving forward? Like, seriously. Get in here. Oh, I see. There's a lake province. They have to pass around here because they can't cross here. I guess that makes sense, but just go ahead and move forward. So that explains why there aren't any units here, I suppose. Interesting. Well, we've got political power. So what we need to do now, of course, is we need to do war propaganda. So we'll do that. And is this an issue here? Well, definitely we need to adjust this front line here. So let's pull this front line back to be right here. There we go. And as far as this goes, I kind of want to attack right here. And see if we can encircle these little guys. It's not nearly as big of an encirclement as this, but even so. And all of you guys that are currently here, just attack. Get in here. Excellent. So these guys are going to run out of supplies eventually. Do they have any victory point? I don't see one. So for now, that looks good, but that's still a big encirclement there. These guys are continuing to not move very quickly. So we'll continue to have them make their way out. These can continue to try to make their way out over this direction. Okay, this encirclement is still here. Get in here. Eliminate them. They're still trying to do a landing over here. So... yeah, this is not necessarily shocking here. We do, however, need to do a breakout over here. So I want to grab the naval base here. We need to try to connect this back up over on this side, and that's absolutely fine. We can do that. But this is not surprising given the situation that we know existed, right? We had a situation where we had troops that weren't here, and our army groups aren't smart enough to deal with that. So that's understood, and we're not terribly shocked about this, all things considered. Okay, so we're being attacked here at this moment. They're trying to pin us in place. We're winning that attack. And we're now moving out over here. We're going to have some amount of supply flow once we get here, by the way. So that looks good. We're able to exfiltrate a lot of these units to a remarkable degree. Okay, have we managed to get this in circle yet? No, we have not. Let's get these tanks in here, but supplies out over here are kind of dicey. That would explain it. Yeah, they're just dicey. That's all there is to it for now. Okay. I'm not going to build supplies out in this area because I don't think it's worth it. Okay, so we got this encirclement. They're trying to break out. Get in here. And do a pinning attack right here, please. And you can help out as well. You're right here. As soon as the autosave is over, anyway. There we go. Get in here. Perfect. They're trying to reconnect over here, and we would like to prevent that, but for the time being, that looks good. Okay, this is now in 2 separate locations here. So I'm going to get rid of this attack order. And we're going to grab these guys and we're going to tell them, just get in here. Although I want you guys to come in this way. As far as these guys go, just head in. There we go. So we'll just continue attacking these areas, and that seems relatively fine. Now down here, how's all this going? We are actually pushing them back over on this side a little bit. It seems like maybe they've partially overextended too much, although... we still have significant issues down over here. And that's understood. Army groups are just very dumb in this game. I think that's literally all there is to it. They're incredibly, incredibly dumb in the way that they manage things. So we need to take over these areas, of course. we're working on it. Things are going quite well on this front, in fact. These guys are trying to walk right here, and that would not be a breakout, but it would be kind of close. Okay, so we're just going to do something kind of like that to try to pin them in place for a little bit. In the meantime, these guys are finishing up their attack here. But we just don't have forces over here right now. And that's understood. They're still trying to attack us up here, by the way. It's not going well for them. Do we have supply flow here? What is happening? We don't. They've just been attacking this for 1 trillion years. Wild. So down over here, we've gotten a very small pocket. That looks good. We'll get that cleaned up quite soon. And overall, things are going quite well for us in America. In the US and Canada in particular, things are going okay in South America, but we're kind of stalled out here. I don't mind stalled. Stalled is good right now, to be clear. We want not this situation, that's for sure. So if we want to break these guys out, helping out with this attack is absolutely a good way to do so. We got him. Okay, so we managed to exfiltrate this. That's good. These guys down here, they really need to get an attack over here succeeding. And that's understood. There's no supply flow down over here, and that's absolutely a thing. So we need to also attack here if we can. We don't know how many troops there are here, but I'm going to launch an attack from over here, and we'll find out how that goes. It's going okay. Not tremendously well, but okay. So that's noted. These guys are now linked back up. So they can move to wherever they're supposed to move at this point. That looks good. So down over here, I would love to get this front under control. This front appears to be relatively under control at this time, and this is now a large series of pockets. So let's get these guys in here. We've got them pocketed. We just need to get them attacked. We do not want them to take Stalingrad. Get in here. Okay. So far, so good on getting these pockets cleaned up. But our manpower is definitely dwindling quickly. There's no doubt about that. Get in here, clean up these pockets. Their manpower is also not going to be great after all of this, right? How's the casualties looking? Okay, I mean, we've taken 20 million losses, and they've taken 8 million losses, so that's not, you know, phenomenal, but we're getting these fronts stabilized. That's what's important. So get in here, get these units stack wiped. That'll be great. I have a sneaking suspicion that they're going to have a harder time replacing their troops than we are, even once we get to 0 manpower. We still have 74,000 recruitable monthly growth, so that's pretty decent. I'm not going to lie. So we need to get this taken care of. We need to get these pockets taken care of. We need to get these pockets taken care of. They've got a fair number of troops here still. And there's an additional pocket that's broken out up here. Look at that. That's excellent. We're going to get this stack wiped too. I love it.
Hey, come on.
Get in here. Get rid of these nerds. Okay. We're trying up over here. Supplies are not great, but they're going to try to head off over this direction, which I don't know what the benefit of that really is. Oh, wow. Okay. We've bypassed our attack order over here at this point. We need to get rid of this. They really don't have much for defenses up over here. So this army group extends down to here, which means that I really would like for this army group here, that's this army group. I would really like for these guys to have their offensive line be about to Leningrad here. So they would go up over this way, take like basically all of Finland, if they can. and then push into a significant chunk of Sweden. Maybe just something kind of like that for now. We'll go ahead and have them execute that. They're on aggressively attack, but there's basically no one defending up here. So that seems very, very good. At this point, it seems like they're overstretched, and they're having a difficult time with the number of fronts. I mean, to be clear, we're having a difficult time with the number of fronts, too. Everything's not all sunshine and rainbows for us. That's for sure. But this war feels like it's starting to reach a bit of a tipping point, and hopefully that is true. This is awkward. Huh. This line here is really, really high console. This line here is really, 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 really short now. Can we not? Can we extend this all the way around? You know, something like that? That'd be great. I'm going to, I think, edit the offensive line here too, because our offensive line is a bit broken at this point. I want to do an offensive line that is basically not like that. Sure, like that. But I also want to do an offensive line that is out this direction and is basically like this, but I want it to be launching from here. So this is not exactly where we want this to come from. Maybe if we did something like... No, that's going the wrong direction. I guess this is okay. Oh, that's really not what I want it to do. Okay. I want to attack from over here. Hang on. Maybe that. Show me the fill-in? Sure. I guess that's fine. Is this a wasteland? I don't know. Regardless, we'll execute those attacks, and that seems fine. But it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we're going to continue to stabilize our European front. This front down over here is still a bit spicy. We are probably going to be able to stabilize this, I think.
Oh, shit.
But we need to get some forces moved around over here. It's going to be awkward. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Dark Horse, Ethan Feldman, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, Roarnaz, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.